boys are back in town. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We can actually probably put in some music in that. The boys are back in town. You're probably get a copyright strike, but it's all good. Bardo here, and I'm here with Cosa Nostra 716 hashtag
Hey.
slash Nickel City Gaming. Put in the plugs
Yes,
there.
sir.
Buy the merch. We're short a guy today. We're only just doing me and Cosa today. Sorry, maybe I should also talk about how we haven't been doing this for a while, but besides the point, we're finally back. Decided to make a video, make a podcast here, not even a video, because we'll be talking hopefully for probably about an hour, a little bit, less or more. We got a lot of covered today, a lot of interesting hockey stats and standings and just predictions. Of course, we really do like doing our predictions.
It's kind of our big major thing is our predictions.
Our predictions. Some accurate, some not. But of course, I guess we could just get right into it. We'll start with standings today. We'll start with the East. I'll cover the East Coast. We got the West, and I'll even do the East wild card. So we'll start with the Metropolitan Division, who has their league-leading New York Islanders. Oh, may I add, it's the 28th. So since the last podcast, I think who was the first team in the? I don't even remember who was the first team. That was a while ago.
Buffalo was doing good. I know Buffalo was like in first or around first. So that's how long ago it was, bro.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But it's, I guess, kind of a surprise to most people with the New York Islanders being in first place right now. Then we got the second place Washington Capitals, who everybody thinks is always going to be a top 3 team in the Metro. They're both tied.
Plus defending Stanley Cup.
Yeah, plus defending Stanley Cup. And, Ovi wants to party again in the summer, so obviously, but he can't do as much because I'm pretty sure they put limitations on what he could do.
Plus he's got a baby.
Oh, so. He does? I didn't even know that. Damn.
Yeah, he had a kid.
Oh, damn. So they're both actually tied at first place, but the Islanders are 2 games behind the Capitals. So I told one of my other friends that I think Washington could easily take first in the Metro, and I think the Islanders are going to drop a little because they didn't really do a lot of trades. We can talk about that later.
Islanders got 2 games in hand. That's deadly.
Yeah, it is deadly, but you never know. They could lose a couple of games. And a big one coming up with Toronto, actually tomorrow. So I'm working that game. That should be interesting. And then third place in the Metro, we have Carolina at 74 points. Now we'll go over to the Atlantic Division with the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are number 1 team in the league, the deadliest team in the league. And if they don't win the cup, I'm gonna cry because they have all the pieces. This should be their year. Unless Washington decides to two-peat. But I don't know. Or Pittsburgh come back in. Then we got number 2 Boston with 83 points. Oh my God, Tampa has 102, so that's a 20-point cushion. Obviously, they're freaking.
Disgusting.
Oh my God, it's not even fair.
There's no way that they could collapse, bro. There's no way. There's literally 18 games left, and there's no way. There's no catch.
And then we got Toronto in third with 82 points, just 1 point behind, and they play the same amount of games as Boston. Then we can move ahead to the wild card. Pretty surprising, I guess. Not really surprised about Montreal being a wild card team, but they have the first wild card slot with 75 points, and then a little bit of surprise, I guess, because there's so much hype behind Pittsburgh and how well they do all the time. Their second wild card, almost for a day ago, they weren't even in the playoffs, and then obviously
they're 1 point on Columbus.
The 1 point off. Well, Columbus is 1 point. My favorite team, the 1 point out of the playoffs currently, with the game behind though, Pittsburgh, so that always helps. Then we got the Flyers, who have what is that? 6 points or 5 points behind, with the game ahead of Columbus. So a lot of these Eastern teams, they gotta literally win majority of their games now if they want to even sneak in wild card.
They're 7 points behind the second wild card spot.
Oh, is it 7? Oh, I thought it was. Well, yeah, I was talking about Columbus though. So it was 6 behind Columbus. Yeah. No, I was talking about Philly, how they're 6 behind Columbus or whatever it was. But and then obviously we got Buffalo right there, Coast's favorite team. Then we got Florida, the Rangers, Jersey, Detroit, and Ottawa. Pretty much you go down the list, the shittier teams are there. And obviously Ottawa made a lot of moves in the playoffs. Not really surprised by that. But in the playoffs, let's say playoffs, trade deadline. But we'll talk about that later once we hit the whole trade deadline segment. And then now we can go over to Cosa Nostra's / Nickel City Gaming. He'll go ahead and he'll do the Western.
Yes, sir. All right, well, right now in the Central, you got Nashville, 79 points leading with 66 games played. Then Winnipeg with 3 games behind, and St. Louis 3 games behind, are able to catch them with those 3 games in hand. If they win out those 3 games at 6 points. But Winnipeg's at 78 in second place, and then it's St. Louis in third place at 74. Then in the Pacific, it is Calgary at a whopping 89. Killing it right now at 64.
They're doing really good. They're on fire.
Bro, then it's San Jose. Ooh, I like that pun. Then it's San Jose Sharks at 82 with 64 games. Then it's the Vegas Golden Knights, who were started off pretty bad, and they are now, in third place in the Pacific at 71 points. And then the first wild card position is Minnesota at 68 points. Then it is Dallas at 67 points. Then Colorado, who took the major dive, and that's a big shocking play, but everyone didn't really expect them to start the way they did. The same thing with the Sabres, and they finally came back to earth, and they are 1 point behind the second wild card position at 66 points. And it's Arizona Coyotes, which is surprising, at 65. Then it's Vancouver Canucks at 62. Then Chicago Blackhawks at 61. Edmonton at 59. Anaheim at 57, and the Kings at 53.
I'm just so disappointed in Arizona, though. I mean, I feel like they've never. When's the last time they made the playoffs? 2008.
Oh, dude.
So it's gotta be. It's gotta be at least 10 years ago. It's crazy how their franchise hasn't really made any major progress. But
it's tough.
I guess enough about
defense killed them, man.
I guess now we can just go ahead and do some predictions for who we think will be the top of each division.
Who's going to finish off? Yeah. Start off in the East Atlantic. You can go ahead.
So I'll go Metro because it's Metro first in that way, but it doesn't really matter. I can go Atlantic.
Whatever, brah.
According to the thing I'm looking at.
Listen, the thing I'm looking at is East, and it's Atlantic, so don't be sure.
Really? Atlantic's first? That's weird.
Favoritism. I can screenshot it right now.
Metro's first for me. That's weird. Maybe because I'm a Blue Jackets fan. I don't know. Maybe it reads my mind. But I personally think the Metro is going to be taken by Washington. I think the Islanders are going to slip.
Really?
I like the Islanders team. Obviously I like Barry Trotz a lot. He's really helped out that team a lot especially once they lost Tavares. Big game also tomorrow. If they're playing Tavares, I'm going to be there working that game. It's going to be sick. The stadium's going to be... You should have seen all the shit that these Islander fans were going to do. They had like a whole thing. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. Yeah. They got a whole plan. Whole plan. Crazy.
Take some pictures.
Yeah. I'll try, dude. I'll try. Believe me.
That's what I said if you can, for sure.
Yeah, I'll be freaking. Actually, you know what? I'm only working one thing in the third period. That's t-shirt toss. The rest of the game, I'm literally just watching the game. That's gonna be sick. I'm getting paid to watch hockey, boys. It's sick. All right, so I'll go down to the Atlantic. I obviously. We're each doing it.
Who's gonna be? No, not even just that though. Who's gonna be the first, second, and third? You know what I'm saying?
I'm doing that. Okay, I thought we were just doing division leaders.
Who's winning the first, second, third? Who's placing, and then who's actually getting the wild card positions? But go ahead.
Wait.
Do the whole Atlantic, the East, and then I'll do the whole East. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Explain that again. All right. So we're doing. I named the first team, right?
You're literally picking who's gonna place in first, second, third, fourth.
Oh, okay. Fourth and fifth. Okay, so playoffs. Okay, second.
Yeah, because that's wild card, fourth and fifth. Goodbye.
Carolina's been really hot this season, but I don't want to give them top 3 to be honest, because I don't think they could stay top 3.
I think they're gonna be a wild card.
I think
so.
Maybe they'd be a wild card.
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna be the Metro 1, 2, and 3?
I think it's going to be Washington. I think it's going to be Pittsburgh, and I think it's going to be the Islanders. And then for the wild card, I think Columbus will be second wild card, and Montreal should be first, to be honest. That's my prediction for the East. Should I just do the West, or you're going to do East?
Who was Atlantic? You didn't pick Atlantic.
Oh, I didn't even do that. I'm actually not even going to move
Tampa, obviously. Like how
Tampa. I might flip-flop Toronto and Boston, though. I mean, Boston's always like a solid team, and Toronto is obviously like with the addition of.
Unless Boston collapses, bro, I don't see them getting out of the top 3 at all. So, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. That's all I was saying. I think they'll probably just end up flip flopping after I mean, they all have really important games coming up. There's not that many games left in the season, but you're gonna see some of these. I think one of them is gonna fall. One of them's gonna. They're probably gonna flip flop. That's what I think. All right. And now, am I doing West? Or you're doing East now, and then we're doing West.
I'll do East.
Okay.
So for me, for Metro, I think honestly that it's gonna be a tough call. But I think Washington's gonna finish first. Then I think it's gonna be Carolina second. Then I think it's gonna be Pittsburgh third. And then for
Carolina second.
Yeah. And then
really good at home.
I think it's gonna be Columbus moving in to that wild card position instead of the Islanders. I think the Islanders are gonna get bumped out.
You really think that?
Then I think, yeah.
Damn.
And then for the Atlantic, I think it's Tampa, Toronto, Boston, and then I don't know if Montreal is really gonna do it, but.
But you think that Philly, Buffalo
are done?
You think those teams?
Make it. Yeah.
Well,
Columbus
then one of the teams.
is the only one that's
that's
great,
true.
so
Because you don't think the Islanders are gonna make it, so yeah. Damn. That's crazy though. I can't imagine the Islanders not making the playoffs after. I think they'll continue to do what they're doing, as long as everybody stays healthy. Obviously, they have like a really good duo in goaltending. I really do like the goaltending. Yeah, they have like very similar stats though.
How Robin's getting a Vezina nod. Like what?
Is he?
How? He's got 2 more games played than Thomas Greiss. Like what?
I don't know. I mean, he's playing really well though, and they're 18-8-4 at home. That's pretty big though.
That's big.
A lot of home wins, especially they're playing a lot better at the Coliseum than they did at the Barclays Center. But regardless, they even played good at the Barclays.
They're doing the first round there.
Yeah, they're doing first round at Coliseum, and the rest is at Barclays, which I'm not a fan of because I don't really feel like going on the train. But I guess now we can go to West. I could see.
Go ahead.
I guess we'll start with Central. So I'm gonna put St. Louis. I'm gonna put St. Louis at first. I think that St. Louis, they ride their back.
Are bypassing everybody.
I think they're bypassing everybody. They're just a really hot team as of late, and their goalie is a killer. I think he was top 3 in the list for the Calder.
Wow.
Or no, man, maybe top 4. I think it was 4 because they put Pedersen, Dahlin, and they put both goalies, Carter Hart, and Bennington. But I think I'll see them number 1. I see Nashville sliding down to second, which isn't really that big.
No.
And then I see Winnipeg. I see Winnipeg third. Winnipeg is always good. I'm surprised. I thought they were going to be like a number 1 team this season.
Yeah.
But
well, they still can be. We'll go ahead.
For Calgary, I guess I'll just go down that way. I see Calgary definitely staying up top with the first spot in the Pacific Division. I would say maybe Vegas. If Vegas just keeps playing the way they're playing, they can easily become the second slot, in my opinion. San Jose, I'll leave them up there at 3. I'll put them at 3, and honestly, I don't think Colorado's making the playoffs this season. I think miraculously we're going to see Arizona somehow slipping. Don't quote me. But Arizona, really? I think they're going to be second wild card, and I think Dallas is going to fall, and Minnesota will stay the first wild card. Don't quote me on that. And I wish I could say the same about Vancouver, because I do like Vancouver. I don't know why I like Vancouver, but I really do like Pedersen a lot. But that's what I have, and let's see what Costa's got.
All right, so my West for Central, I think it's going to be Winnipeg because they got 3 games in hand, and they're only 1 point behind Nashville. Then I think it'll be Nashville second, and then I think it'll be St. Louis in third. So just the first and second are swapping there. Then for Pacific, I think it's going to be Calgary. Then I think it's going to be San Jose. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch them because the next team's 11 points behind, and they got the same amount of games played. Then for the Pacific, I don't know if Vegas can hold on to that. I really don't, but I think they might. So I'm just going to give them third. And then for the wild card, I think it's possibility of Minnesota for sure making it. Dallas is not, though. I don't think Dallas is going to make it. I think someone else is going to take it. Who? I don't know. which is the tough part because like they all have one game in hand. They all have 63 games left, and it's honestly anyone's game
To
from
be
Arizona,
honest,
Colorado, and Dallas, and Vancouver.
even
Chicago, I
Chicago.
don't think.
I mean, they're what? They're 6 points. There's
Yeah,
there's not a lot of
6 points.
hockey left, but
They
honestly,
could still
six
do
points
it.
isn't that bad of a if they can win. Build up
Good
like a small winning streak or a couple
I
like a
know.
5 game winning streak would be really nice to help them out. But I would say the West, after you have like the top like 3 teams in each division, the wild card is. I would say they're kind of weak.
Anyways, it's a good 6 teams for sure.
I would say it's kind of weak in the sense that all these teams are right. Maybe not weak is not the right word I'm looking for, but they're all like really close. Because if I look at the other side and I look at I would say they probably have weaker wild card teams than the East, though. I would say.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
I think that's
I do.
definitely a thing. All right, I guess now we did our all of our predictions. We can now head over to the. I guess we want to do stats next, if that's something you want to do.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
do,
then we
yeah.
go ahead and do some stats. I guess we could do point leaders first. Let me
Yeah.
just open that up real
This is
quick.
ridiculous, bro. This is ridiculous.
And
When you actually see him, dude, there's no other way. That
the
anyone's
number
catching
one
Cooch.
point getter in the NHL right now, with 64 games played, is your boy Tampa Bay Lightning, Nikita Kucherov.
My boy. Yeah.
My boy, our boys. I like him. I like him a lot. 104 points, which is I don't have a word to dominant. One
He had
word.
3 tonight.
Did
Yeah,
he
my
have 3
shit's not updated on the app on my phone.
He's got 104 right now. Then we got Patty
It's
Kane.
101 right now on mine.
He's got 104. Patty Kane's got 93 at second. Oh my god, I just can't. And then Connor McDavid, who I think I picked as the most point. I think that's what I picked, Connor McDavid.
Everyone probably did.
But I mean, he's still top 3. That's not terrible. And then Johnny Hockey
Which
is
is
number
awesome.
4. And then I'll just do top 5. So then we got Johnny Hockey, and then Braden Point, another Tampa Bay Lightning boy. Stamkos is in number 9, so he's at least he's in top 10. I like Stamkos. I feel bad that he hasn't. I don't even think he has a cup, right? I don't think he's won a cup,
No.
unless he won one with Tortorella. Who was on the Tortorella team?
Not him. It was Vinny Lecavalier, St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? It was
Oh
older.
yeah. Okay. Right. I thought maybe Stamkos was on the team. I guess
He
not.
wasn't, yeah.
All right. I guess if you want, you could do goals. If you want to do goal leaders.
I still want to do the same thing. I'm doing points too. So
Oh, I guess we're
definitely
each gonna-
Nikita Kucherov. Yeah, but I think definitely Nikita's finishing first. Second, I do think it's gonna be Patty Kane. Third, it's gonna be Connor. Then fourth, I think it's gonna be Mikko Rantanen. And then fifth, I think it's gonna be Nathan McKinnon. I think Johnny Hockey's gonna get bumped out, but that's pretty dope. I'm just doing top 5 on that. So, and then goals, it's
Of course, my
You
controller
go ahead.
bumped out real quick. Hold up. There we go. That's better.
so what? It didn't record me or did it?
I don't. Honestly, I don't really know. But it was like 2
All right,
seconds
well,
of
you
your
know,
voice.
I'll do goals then. All right, I'll do goals first, and then you do goals. So Ovi, I definitely think he's gonna hit 50, maybe 55 goals, which is pretty big. Then Patty Kane, he's gonna be a little bit over 45. Leon Draisaitl, which is nuts that he's got 38.
That's surprising that he's even up there, man. Come on.
Dude, I didn't think he would be up there like this either. Same thing with Braden Point, man. He's got 36.
I mean, Draisaitl was the only like German player to hit 30 goals on a season. Believe it or
Yeah,
not.
that's insane. I hope that Jeff Skinner at least can get to 3. If he can hit 45, that'd be major. But right now that he's got 36, that's badass. And I hope that it stays the same with the goal leaders in that order, the same order. I do.
Pretty
But
well.
I hope Ovi,
Yeah.
I think he's the only 50 goal scorer for me this season.
I can see
Nobody else
that.
is gonna get-
I honestly, not because I'm a Blue Jackets fan. I don't think Atkinson's hitting 50, but I think I think he's gonna get in the 40s. To be
He's
honest,
35.
He's 35
He
now.
should
he should be
at
able
least
to.
be able to get like 10 more.
I think so.
If he can get 15 more, that means he's probably got a good 7 like 2-goal games or like 3 games getting fucking a hattie, and that's gonna be tough. You know. So
now Columbus has to remesh all their players though. They brought up
I didn't watch the game, but I seen that they got their asses kicked.
Oh, they played terrible.
You know what I mean?
Well, they were all
new guys.
They were all in. I think McQuaid was in too, but Dzingel, Duchesne were in.
Yeah, it's gonna take some.
We'll talk about the trades later and how I feel about that whole Columbus making moves and stuff like that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We can go to assists. We'll go ahead. We got Nikita Kucherov, 74. That's crazy. Didn't even think he has 74. Blake Wheeler.
Oh, so he had 3 assists tonight.
Oh, he did? Yeah, he's freaking killing it.
He had 2 when I last saw it. He had 2 assists, and then I guess he had a 3rd. Badass.
Well, he is a monster. Okay, so and then we got Blake Wheeler at number 2. Winnipeg Jet, 61 points. Brent Burns, the only defenseman. Let me see another defenseman. Do I even see another defenseman? John Carlson's at number 12.
13. Yeah, he's tied with Jackie Boy.
But Brent Burns.
Jack Eichel, baby.
Dude, Brent Burns is always putting up points, though. I like him a lot. He's a very offensive defenseman, and that's what I feel like that's what you kind of need in the league.
He hasn't had that many goals this season, though.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of assists, and that's what you need. I mean, he's not going to score. I feel like he's offensive. I mean, if you're getting assists, I'm still counting that as offensive. I mean, he's getting points. That's all that matters, especially with D. It's pretty big to have that extra guy.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm looking to see if there's any defensemen, but it won't go past fucking like 15.
Well, I think you can actually reposition.
Oh, I like 25. 25.
Oh, I can't even.
Yeah, but Kucherov, man, he's got 10 more assists than the second place, which is nuts. So I don't think anyone's catching him on assists either. But Buffalo note, if Jack, obviously he's got 47. If he can get over 60 assists, that'd be major, because then that means that Buffalo's actually producing, and his line's producing on the power play and on 5-on-5. So that means that Buffalo's winning, hopefully, and boom, that means Buffalo's in a wild card position, or at least battling for it at the end of the season, because that's all we really want right now. Because this whole season is a surprise, man, especially the beginning of it with that 10-game win streak, and everyone's all blah 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 Buffalo, and now Buffalo's this,
right in the bandwagon.
Everyone was a Buffalo fan. Yeah, everyone was a Buffalo fan. But then when Buffalo starts losing, typical Buffalo, that's what they, blah blah blah. No, listen, it's not it at all. No one and a real Buffalo fan did not expect them to do that at all. Thought that this season was going to be,
Well, where were you placing them at the beginning?
At least, top 10, battle for fucking second wild card position, and that's what they're doing right now. But that start was crazy, you know what I mean? And everyone was like,
I don't think anybody could have imagined the start that they had on their season.
Yeah, settle down, man. Like, give them a fucking... It was big, and everyone just blew it off. Like, oh, no, it's typical Buffalo. Fuck you. But go ahead. Sorry about my rant.
That's all good. I'll just talk a little bit about the rookies now. We can go ahead and do some rookie. I'll just do rookie points. I don't really care really that much about rookie goals and assists. I guess we could touch about everything really quick. We can just do this really quick. We can do power play goals. We can do whatever.
No, you don't gotta just talk about the rookies. I was looking at power play goals.
I guess if you want, you can add that after. If you want to talk about that. Because I'm gonna run through this real quick. We got Elias Pettersson. I think he's by far taking it. I don't think there's no doubt, no question.
No he's a forward. Gonna win it.
Darwin's number 2 though, 37 points. He's having a pretty good season.
He's a beast. Listen, that's great. It's great. But I'll talk about
Andreas Janssen from Toronto, who's at 36 points this season. Colin White at 32. Yeah, there's no other. And then Brady Kachuk at 31. And I know you like Brady. I know you like Brady a lot.
Yeah, he got hurt too. I wish Buffalo
just played his brother.
Man, but I know he scored too.
Big.
They lost, but he scored. His whole family had a split jersey kind of.
I saw that. That was cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was
Ottawa,
cool.
Calgary. Yeah, it was dope. His grandma cried and shit when he scored. Yo, it was awesome.
Damn. But I saw like it was either TSN or maybe it was NHL Network that showed like the Calder. I guess like all the people that voted on like I guess they do that like employees
like
or something that do that.
And shit.
Yeah, and they had obviously they had Pedersen at 1, Don Lean at 2, and they had Carter Hart at 3 and Binnington, the Blues goalie, at 4. So that's pretty big. Obviously the goalies are obviously making a big impact on, you know, especially those two teams' playoff pushes, especially with obviously you saw a really important push by the Blues to actually now they finally got into an actual top 3 spot instead of, you know, at the beginning they were like, oh my god, we're gonna have to trade people. They were all panicking in St. Louis. Once they all like started gelling together and they started playing Binghamton a lot. And I remember I saw Binghamton at the Barclays Center.
My boy Ryan O'Reilly started up, man.
Oh, once they all just started gelling, and once they just started, it was just over. They're a really good team. I really do like them. The only problem I thought personally was the goaltending. They filled that in, which is pretty apparent. Binghamton is a phenomenal goaltender. I mean, it's his first season, so you don't really know what the future is gonna be like obviously for him and for St. Louis in their goaltending situation. I guess they would have Brian Allen's on Philly. Who's their backup? Jake Allen? I don't even know. Is Jake Allen the backup?
The other goalie, yeah. He's the other goalie.
He's Jake Allen. I remember watching some games, but he's alright. I don't really think too much about Jake Allen, to be honest with you.
He's inconsistent, man.
Alright, I guess we did. What we can talk about now?
What about that goal? The rookies you were talking about, Rasmus Dahlin with 37 points. He's been stepping up for Buffalo, doing work. He's working the first line now, getting like 25 minutes a game. He's fucking doing penalty killing, power play. He's also a big person, like taking the puck out of the zone. And then when you actually watch his play, he's always looking to pinch, and he's always moving into the slot. Sometimes it's biting him, and he's getting fucked, and he turns it over or something stupid. But he's showing a lot, man, and he's very young, and obviously he's just gonna keep learning and getting better. But he's unreal, man. So I'm happy that he's second on there, because obviously they're not really gonna give it to a rookie defenseman. The last one was Tyler Myers, and he was a Sabre, which was dope. But, it's just not going to happen right now, especially with Pedersen, dude. He's a freak of nature.
It's an offensive game. They're always going to give it to forwards, mainly, over defensemen.
But Dahlin might be a Norris one soon.
Did Martin, I don't know if you know this. Did Martin Brodeur ever win the Calder? I thought he did the year that he won the Cup with the Devils. I thought he won the Calder. I think he did. I think that whatever year that was that the Devils won and he was a rookie.
Pretty sure you can find it if you look it up.
Yeah, I probably could, but I'm not. I would if I could. I guess now we have a couple more things on our list. Well, not a couple. We got a lot more things on our list we talk about. But I guess we do a little quick thing about Seattle. I mean, I have the article open on the NHL their website for Seattle. I know Cosa doesn't really have that much to talk about it, but it's just I'll just read an article. It's not really. I'm not really gonna read the article, but obviously they're the 32nd team. They're coming in the 21-22 season. They've had a couple names, passed around, like the Totems and the Kraken, or they've had some cool names, introduced. But besides that, I think that maybe when they do the draft, they might have. Since it's been how many years will it have been since the Vegas one? It was 2017-18 or 2018-19? 2017. Yeah, when did they come in?
Vegas was last season.
Was that? Yeah, whatever.
Last season, motherfucker.
Damn. Oh yeah, I feel like they freaking made the freaking cup.
Dude, they made the fucking Stanley Cup in their first season. All that shit popped off in their first season.
I definitely don't think though Seattle will be able to do that. I think what we saw there was a fluke, and I don't think they're making that shit.
Behind it, bro, especially because that whole shooting and shit happened there.
They were playing.
You know what I mean?
They were playing. They were not only playing for each other, but for the whole city, the whole state. So I mean, that was obviously a crazy thing to happen in Vegas, and they rode that
Yeah, a lot
and
of
try to make Vegas proud, Vegas
a lot
strong.
of unexplained shit still, man.
Yeah,
Big cover up. A lot of crazy shit. Yep.
a lot of crazy shit. I guess I don't really have to talk anything more about it, but the franchise currently has 32,000 depositors for season tickets, which is pretty good.
That's big.
That's pretty big. I guess there's nothing really else I could talk about. Their CEO is, I just saw it 2 seconds ago, Todd Luecki, however you say his name. Yeah, I guess that's their CEO, and obviously they have WHL hockey there for the Seattle Thunderbirds, but I guess they've been dying for a team. They've wanted a team. I'm surprised they came back before the NBA team would, but yeah, that's pretty big for Seattle. I guess now we can move on to, I guess, what do we want to move on to? We can talk about the trade deadline. I guess that's the next thing on our list. Let me just open up my handy dandy. We'll just go down the pretty much the trade deadline recap. So Granlund and Simmons helped out the Predators with their second line.
Big trade.
Those were
Which
big.
would you like better? Okay, let's do it. You name them off the trades, and we'll talk about which addition, if we think that addition is going to be good, like or not. Okay, so for me, I think that Wayne Simmons addition is going to be a major factor for Nashville, dude. If he can stay healthy and if he can do the same thing that he does in Philadelphia there, they got a new aspect of their team that they have never had. And, he can score goals, but he also will fucking body you. And people are, fear when he steps on the ice. So, dude, that shit's a major thing, and I'm excited to see that. And Granlund, I mean, he's not bad, but he's a really good defensive zone face-off, winning defenseman who can also score. So he's not a bad addition. But I like the Wayne Simmons one 10 times better.
I do like Wayne Simmons a lot. Obviously, his presence on the team is really going to help him out. I like Granlund a lot. I think he's very underrated. He's a very, a two-way kind of player. He helps out defensively. He can put points on the board when he needs to. Yeah, I really do think that really helps the Predators a lot. Possibly to maintain the first, seed in their division.
And go far.
Hopefully, I would love to see him in the Cup, to be honest. And maybe, play my Blue Jackets. Too bad it's gonna be Tampa. It's gonna be Tampa. Tampa's in there.
What about Sabres? You never.
Oh yeah, you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I guess the next trade.
Same colors.
Almost.
Same colors.
Very similar in the colors, actually. Very similar.
And to be, baby. And to be.
But yeah, I guess now the next one I'll talk about is Stone. And one of the players. Yeah, one of the players in Ottawa that got moved. There's multiple players in Ottawa. Ottawa did a lot of moving. They were obviously sellers / buyers, but they got a lot in return for what they gave up for a lot of these players. So. And the first, I really do like Mark Stone. He's just a bigger guy, and he's gonna help their second line a lot. I don't really have that much to say about Stone. I haven't really watched him that much, but I know he's a big boy.
I don't really like him that much, but he's not bad. He's definitely like a power forward type who can get dirty. You know what I mean? In the corners, get the puck out, get it to people, or stand in front of the net, tip it. You know what I mean? He's force out there for sure. He
didn't really put up any. I don't even think he put any points up. But I think it was yesterday. Max Pacioretty got 3 points that game, I believe. I don't know who they played. I think they played. Maybe they played Dallas. I think they played Dallas last night. But besides the point, Max Pacioretty was doing more. We haven't even seen any points from Stone yet. But I guess maybe he will. It was his first game. It's very true. Now the next trade was Gustav Nyquist to the Sharks. I like. He came from. Where did he come from? Detroit, right? I think it was Detroit. I don't even know what they got in return for him. Let me see real quick. Obviously, though, I really do like Nyquist a lot. And obviously adding him to the Sharks, who are already offensive as they are, just helps him out a lot better. I don't know what they got in return. Where does it even say? It doesn't even say what they got in return. But I guess if you have any thoughts on it, it was just a pick.
Nah, I don't really care for him that much. Which is
me either.
Nothing personal. I just don't. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's great. I don't. You know what I mean?
I mean, they already have like strong lines on the Sharks, so obviously like a player like him is gonna help them out. I don't really know if they got. I mean, I guess they got a pick. It doesn't even say what they got from him. It's kind of crazy.
Bro, I'm watching Stroud right now. He just shredded with the Evo 2 headshots in a row. Insane.
Apex. Hashtag. Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by Apex Legends. Please.
Yeah, we wish.
Give us free points.
Help our stream now, please. No,
I love you, Apex. What? Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
great game.
Now Kevin Hayes, one of the
Big nigga.
was one of the 3 New York Rangers that got moved. During the trade deadline, Hayes went to Winnipeg. I honestly think Kevin Hayes is a really good player. He will help out that team a whole lot. If he's playing with Patrick Laine, that's what, he needs that kind of, I believe he's a center. Yeah, he's a center.
He won't be on that first line, but he's definitely fucking major.
Well, I think Laine is Laine on the second? I thought he might have been.
I think he's on the first. Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler, right?
Well, they always move their lines anyway around. Actually, I've seen them do that a lot. Especially they had a completely different lineup when they played the Islanders back at the Barclays Center. But I do like Hayes. He was a good player. Obviously, the Rangers are going through a rebuild right now, and they decided to actually rebuild instead of keeping their players. I'm surprised they were doing as well as they were doing though. With them quote unquote going through the rebuild, and then they decide it's time to ship out players, get picks in return, and just keep building for the future. I do like this draft class this year, so maybe if the Rangers actually do well, they can get somebody good.
Yeah, for sure. I like Kevin Hayes' addition to Winnipeg. I think that he's going to help them out, down the middle, depth. But I like him as a player anyways. And I know this really has nothing to do with nothing, but in NHL, I would always sign him just because he's a major fucking player for a third line.
Good contract.
And he's really good at penalty killing, man. I like Kevin Hayes' lines. A big dude, stick him in front of the net and just fucking shoot. You know what I mean? But he can do more than that. He's a good passer. He can actually score himself. He's a physical player. Dude, he's about to help them out a lot. That's another dangerous team right there for making a push. If everything works how, they project it to be. Plus their addition to Nate Boyou for a 6th-round pick from Buffalo. I know we were going to talk about that, but I just fucking threw it in now because we were talking about that team. So he is another player. He's another physical guy who could, move the puck when he's actually wanting to, and now he's going to have some motivation because in Buffalo he wasn't getting the playing time. He didn't really want to move from Buffalo, but he said, if you're not going to play me, trade me, and that's what they did. So, good luck, Nate Boyou. Hope you do work. But, yeah, so Winnipeg's about to be dangerous, even more than they already are, so.
All right, the next one on this list here is the Derek Brassard trade. Personally, I mean, I did like Derek Brassard, but he's just been moving on so many different teams. It's kind of crazy. He's been, especially Carl Hagelin. Carl Hagelin keeps moving too. Those are the 2 players that I've seen just move so much. Hagelin a lot.
Florida, and I'm happy he's in Colorado. He can help them, maybe, man, because they've fallen obviously, like we were talking about before, and
they can make that push.
Dude, if he can help them, yeah.
At least get second wild card.
For sure, something. And then once you're in, and it don't matter. You know what I mean? Once you get a ticket to the dance, that's all that matters.
It's crazy, though, that Brassard was picked 6th overall for Columbus in the 2000, I think it was 8 draft. I think it was 2006. He was picked 6th overall. Like, I don't really know. I mean, how great. I mean, he's a good player, but wish he would do more, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
I just lost my spot. Shit. I guess we could talk. I just completely closed out of it. But I guess on top of my head, we could talk about Duchesne and his. Yeah. We could just talk about what do you think Buffalo, how they did it, and obviously they didn't really make too many moves.
Talk about Columbus, and I'll talk about Columbus. Buffalo. Whatever.
So Columbus, they obviously made a lot of moves. trying to go for that playoff push. Obviously, when they have two players like Bobrovsky and Panarin on their last year of their deal and don't want to possibly resign, you have to try to do something to try to get them to resign. So they had to.
Yeah.
So they made the Jarmo Kekalainen, the GM for the Columbus Blue Jackets, decide to make the decision. Pretty much just lose all your picks and gear up for the playoffs and try to make the push in the playoffs, because they have not been a successful playoff team at all. They have never won past the first round. So, and the 4 or 5 times that they've been in the playoffs. So, but most of those times they've played the teams that have made the cup and have won the cup. So, which I feel bad for them.
Sure.
That always has to happen for them. But obviously, I guess I could talk a little bit about Ottawa, because Ottawa they got so many freaking picks in return. I mean, obviously, I guess they're rebuilding if it's not obvious already. But they got a lot of picks, And that's pretty big for them. And I've never really been a fan of their team, though.
They're not just for this year, right?
Well, it's for the next couple of years. It's like when Columbus gave them like freaking 2 first rounds.
Yeah, they got Columbus gave him 2 first rounders.
Yeah, I think it was 2 first rounds for Duchesne alone. And then for Dzingel, it was like a second, like a 4th or something. Then they got like a 4th and a 3rd or something for McQuaid. So they're just giving away all their whole future there. But I mean, I guess they're trying to protect their current future. If they could try to save Bobrovsky or Panarin. Like, honestly, if they could keep one of them, I'll be fine. Honestly, I want it to be Panarin, though, more than Bob. Because I feel like they have the goaltenders in their system. They just need to play more. Like, you can't really get good unless you play. There's only one way.
It's definitely a higher player, type to find. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. But you never know. We're going to see what happens. And we have like 5 UFAs. And obviously Duchesne, might I add, most of these people are loans if they don't re-sign. But
still, if they do good, right, and you get farther in, to the playoffs or whatever, you can make that pitch of, hey, we just started something, let's keep it going. We can try to get it to, for the next couple of years, if we all sign a 3 to 5 year deals.
I mean, they got the center Liam Foudy coming up too, so that'll help him up. Liam Foudy's a really fast player. He's a really fast prospect for Columbus. You'll see him. He's coming up next season probably, or at least he'll be in the AHL. They always do that. Columbus always they never bring their players up right away, which I like, because they should develop them.
Yeah, that's what Botterill's doing here in Buffalo, man. He's starting to do that, and that's why Rochester right now is first place.
Are they actually?
They were in first place, like last week or 2 weeks ago. So
yeah,
they're doing really good right now.
I guess you might as well just talk about Buffalo. How you thought they did? What grade would you give them?
Well, that whole move with the Ducks for Brandon Montour for the first round, which is either going to be St. Louis or Minnesota's pick, whichever one's the latest one. It all depends on how the season folds out. Because we have 3 first rounders our own, and then St. Louis and Minnesota. And then Brandon Gooley, which was a pick by Tim Murray, 2nd round, right behind Jack Eichel that same draft. Me personally, I love Gooley. I love his play. He's 21 years old, you know what I mean? He can move the puck. He's fast as shit for being like 6'2", 6'3". He can score. He's not that big of a hitter, but you could learn that, as he gets bigger and more confident. But Gooley's a monster, and I hope he does good in Anaheim. But this dude, I don't really know much about him, Didn't really pay much pay any attention to him or nothing like that. They clearly last year, for when Vegas was trying to, go on teams and take people, they gave him Shea Theodore instead of him. So they had some type of, love for this kid. And I guess that from hearing on the radio from Phil Housley's interview, he was saying that he's a good puck moving defenseman and this and that, and he's offensive minded, but he's still obviously good defensively. But he's what fits what they're trying to do right now. He's got 1 year left on his deal, so next year's his last year. But he's 24 years old. Gooley was 21. The difference between him and Gooley was Gooley's 3 years younger, and he's probably a season and maybe half a season, behind him. So I don't really know if it was worth it. Plus, you're giving away one of our first rounders. I mean, granted, we have 3, plus we have, multiple picks in other rounds this coming up. I think we have like 9 picks or 10 picks. So that's pretty big, but I don't know.
Columbus has really no picks. They have 2 picks this draft, 3 and 7.
Damn.
Like,
yeah, after all that shit.
You gotta be kidding me. And I guess we'll see if it's worth it or not.
Yeah, that'd be shitty if it's not. But Buffalo's got a lot of assets, man. I just really like Gould. I really do. But he was like minus fucking 12 or something like that, and the team's in first place, and he only had 27 points. But like he's only 21, so of course it's gonna take time. But they needed somebody right now to try to help with the playoff push. But I mean, offensively, you still need help too.
It's true.
So
I guess now, because it's kind of on the line of the Buffalo Sabres, the Evander Kane Char fight. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, that was a pretty funny fight. I think it was 2 nights ago. Char and Evander Kane were battling with each other, throughout the game, and then Char laid out Kane, and Kane didn't like it, so Kane got up and dropped his gloves and jumped Chara from behind, slammed him to the ice, kind of, and then Chara got up and started fucking him up and shit, but it was just funny, and it was just crazy to see the old man drop the gloves again, but Evander Kane, he jumped him, man. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He jumped his ass, and he fucking tackled him to the ice, thought he had him, and Chara was like, oh, nope, got up and started fucking pounding him out.
It was about to be a big fight last game with the Flames Islanders game, but the ref stopped it.
Really?
Like somebody ran into Mike Smith, or somebody pushed somebody in front, and everybody started losing their shit. It was the craziest shit ever. All the fans are like, "Oh, come on, fight!" And then the refs just, it's just crazy. Yeah,
I love it.
I love fighting though in the game. It's part of the game. So.
I know it sucks that they're trying to take it out, because I'm telling you, the greatest years to watch hockey at all were the mid to late 90s, and then early 2000s.
For sure.
That shit was the best, especially being a Sabres fan. It was amazing, man. Amazing. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I'm happy that I was able to experience that shit. Have Rob Ray, Brad May, Matthew Barnaby, you know what I mean, all on the scene.
Oh, yeah, Barnaby.
Bro,
I forgot about Barnaby.
Listen, Bob Bubner. Okay, here in Buffalo, there's the Audit, and that was the first arena that the Sabres played in. It's not a standing anymore. They knocked it down. But, that was the first arena, and I was 4 years old being there. And I remember being there. Like, there's this player, Jason Daw, and my dad and me were parked on the outside of the arena, because it's a lot different than how it was now. Like, dude, it's so nonchalant, and it was chill, and it was just such a different atmosphere compared to, like, how the media and cameras and everything like that with players. So he was walking in the back of the stadium in the entrance, but he had his duffel bag in his hand, and he was just walking by himself. And I'm like, Dad, there's Jason Daw, and I had a Sabres book that I fucking would study, dude. And it was, like, the whole roster. It was, like, 93 to 94 the year. So it was the old royal blue and gold, classic shit. And I was, seeing his picture, and I knew it was him, and he was one of my favorite players. So I asked, I was like, my dad, I was like, can you go get his autograph? He's like, no, you do it. So I got out. I was like, excuse me, sir, can I have your autograph? Scared as shit, bro. He's my first autograph I ever got. And he signed his picture for me and shit. He's like, yeah. He's like, see you later, buddy. Blah blah blah. I was like, thanks, but it was just dope, dude.
I've never asked a player for an autograph. I've gotten a bunch of autographs, but my dad actually got me an autograph from Tom Brady on a napkin.
That's pretty sick.
It was cool. I thought it was. I don't know what happened to the napkin, but.
So you have no autographs? Like that many?
I have a couple of Islander, because they would go. The Islanders are obviously the from here, so they would go around to elementary schools. I remember we got Trent Hunter. I think it was the 2018, to be honest. When Trent Hunter was on the team, and they had I forgot the other players that they had, but they literally they brought in a card in which they signed. They gave to everybody, so it was pretty cool. I have that, and then I have signed a Henrik Lundqvist goalie mask. It's a small mini one. Yeah, it's really cool though, and it's authentic, and it has the authentic thing that you could.
Oh yeah, the card.
Yeah, so that's really sick too. And a little bit off topic, but my dad got a Sam Darnold signed helmet, an actual helmet. And and that's pretty
Like
cool.
a big one or a little one?
Yeah, like a big one, like in one that I could put on my head.
Sick. Yeah, I got two. I got two mini helmets. I got Stevie Johnson from the Bills. He was a wide receiver recently, like, fucking 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then Freddie Jackson, who's a fan favorite, Buffalo legend, I got those two signed mini helmets. That's all I got for mini helmets. But I have fucking Mad Sabres alumni shit, because I had like this whole poster thing. They came to my school at Kenmore West for high school. They came there and they did a Sabres alumni team versus my teacher's faculty basketball game. Yeah, charity basketball game, bro, I swear to God. I have the thing. I can take a picture and send it to you. I was on the bowling team, so it was like all the athletes were able to go and just do it. It wasn't like the whole school, it was just the athletes. So we filled in the gym and we were chilling and shit, and Rob Ray crossed over, but he kind of like punked. Sorry, I had to cough.
It's all good.
He like punked, like threw a punch, like at my fucking teacher, and my teacher fell, like he like fell, and he also fell running backwards.
Damn.
Pretty funny. Yeah, but I got a lot of people there. I have Rob Ray's, like, two of them, actual autograph. Like, my teacher at school, she, like, my one grammar school, which was School 19, she actually was friends with Rob Ray. And she got a poster, shit, for me and my cousin, swear. I don't know where the poster is. I think it's at my mom's house, but I like, don't really have it. But it was for me and him. She got one each. And it was a picture of Rob Ray, and Rob Ray had a jersey off, because he used to take his jersey off every time he would fight, bro. Just because they would use it to, like, pull it over your head and shit. So he would always, like, immediately take his jersey off. But he had blood coming down his face and shit. He had his arm raised and shit. It was dope. It was such a sick picture, but it said, to Mark, best wishes, blah, blah, blah.
Damn.
It was pretty dope.
That's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
and then my dad's got me a couple different ones. He got me, remember Chyna, the wrestler from WWE?
Yeah, did she
WWF?
die?
Yeah, but I got her autograph, and it's a Playboy picture. It's not, like, her naked, but it's, like, the cover of Playboy. But it's that autograph. Yeah, dude, I got a lot of autographs, other players and people that I can't really think of right now. But I got like a good 10 to 12. It's pretty dope.
All right, well, we're coming close to the end
Pat
here, then.
LaFontaine. That's the other thing. Pat LaFontaine.
Oh, Patty.
Sabres legend.
I just had a whole conversation with one of my professors. He worked as an analytic person, so he knew all the players and stuff. So he's like good friends with Pat LaFontaine. That's what he told me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
hopefully
pretty
he
dope,
can get me
because
into
I
like
met
a connection.
him in Buffalo, David Adams, dude. I had to buy a ticket for like $25 or some shit to go and meet him and actually have him sign something. I have my thing from, it's like Sabres Kids Club, and it was back in the day you would pick your favorite player and shit. Remember, I think I sent it in the chat to you guys when I got it, but it's your favorite player, you pick who you wanted and shit, and like Sabretooth would send you happy birthday letters and all this other shit, but it was a dope card, and it's Pat LaFontaine was my favorite player, so I got that. And I had him sign that for me, and then I also got him to sign like an official Sabres bug of shit. But it was dope because I asked him, I talked to him, yeah, he worked for the NHL still. And he's like, yeah, I'm working for the NHL still. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, how you like it? He's like, oh, I like it, it's good, blah, blah. I was like, well, it's a pleasure and honor to meet you. He's like, no, the pleasure's mine. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, you got a hand cramp yet? He's like, no, I haven't even thought about it until now. And I was like, oh, well, sorry, I hope I don't jinx you. And me and him laughed and shit, it was dope. He's a good dude.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, see you later, Miss Pat LaFontaine. Pleasure to meet you. He's like, no, pleasure's mine again. I was like, oh,
damn, dude. That's actually sick. Fuck.
It was a moment, yeah, it was dope as fuck.
Damn. Those are the moments that hockey fans just fucking love. Man, or just
especially
people.
Pat LaFontaine, bro. Yeah. The only other one I would want to meet like that is Joe Sakic and Hasek. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, dude. All right, well.
For sure.
I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here. We're kind of, I want to have it under an hour because the whole thing with PlayStation will cut it off, and I don't want that to happen. We literally almost have a whole hour, so that's pretty fucking sick.
Well, we're good, yeah.
Yeah, we can literally go on for longer if but I don't want to mess with the PlayStation thing, get everything cut off. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I guess we'll try to make a new one quick. I mean, obviously we want to try to do it before the playoffs, and obviously we want to try to do it before that. Maybe do like a one in between now and then the playoffs, because we want to do our playoff whole predictions and stuff like that, which is probably going to be my favorite time of the year, especially when to do all those predictions once we get all those teams set up for the playoffs. But
yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it. Obviously, we got a YouTube channel. I'll probably one day we'll probably end up making a Instagram and probably maybe a Twitter just to help out. But
Yeah.
but yeah, for
Also,
now we just got a
follow
YouTube channel.
Social media accounts, which is mine is @NickelCity_gaming at Twitch and at Instagram, and also Nickel City Gaming on YouTube.
I'll put all the stuff in the description. I just gotta do all that shit anyway though. But
I hear you.
But yeah, I appreciate everybody. You know, if you know you took the time and listen, if you listened the whole way, then you're crazy. But if you listen from piece to piece, I'll try to get like a timeline on what we talked about. I might actually do that because that helps a lot more. I feel like if we do that, like have a time like, oh, this time we talked about from here to here we talked about this, from here to here we talked about that.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I might
End it. Don't go over the hour, Goose.
All right, I'm ending it now. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much.